Good as gold.
My guess is you're calling yourself Mr. William Money.
Say what?
You don't look no meaner than hell. $1,000 reward, Will.
So you still have that Spencer rifle, huh?
Yeah. Will never be forgotten.
Don't want to get killed. Better clear on out the back.
Guns Clint Eastwood used in his movies. The channel for westerns and more. One of the most enduring iconic actors, known mostly but not exclusively as an action movie star, making the move from the small screen to the big screen in the 1960s, contributing to the birth of the spaghetti western genre. Eastwood has an uncanny way of reinventing himself and remaining relevant. As an action hero and anti-hero, he usually carries firearms that were also iconic to his on-screen characters. Known for turning down roles like Superman and James Bond, he clearly was, and is, a confident, strong role model. Today we will take a look at some of the firearms he used in his movies. If you enjoy this video, hit the subscription button to get my new videos. To check out my many other videos, head to my channel. The link is in the description. Here we go. In The Line of Fire, 1993, Clint carries a Sig Sauer P228 as Secret Service agent Frank Horrigan in The Line of Fire. This was the first and only time when he used a semi-auto pistol made after 1980, an aging Secret Service agent that usually works undercover on fraud cases. When he's called back into presidential guard duty by an assassin that wants to play some crazy game trying to get into the history books by shooting the president, Horrigan carries a Sig Sauer P228 like the other USSS agents. The P228 was the standard US Secret Service sidearm. The agency later switched to the Sig Sauer P229. While it was strange to see Eastwood packing a modern handgun, he never shoots the Sig on screen. Unforgiven, 1992, Star 1858 Army Revolver. If you don't pay attention to this classic western, you might think Eastwood's William Money carries another cult single-action army. But Unforgiven includes a little secret for gun fanatics. The pistol Money keeps at his farm is a double-action Star 1858 Army percussion revolver. This interesting cap and ball wheel gun functioned in double action, though not a true double-action revolver as we think of today. The Star has two triggers that act like a set trigger on a rifle. One trigger rotates the cylinder, cocking the gun's hammer, ready to fire. When the larger trigger is pulled back further, it touches a lighter second trigger that drops the hammer, firing the gun. The trigger can be pulled in one motion for quick double-action firing, or the hammer could be cocked in each shot like a single action and more accurate shooting, since the full trigger pull was long and heavy. Perhaps why Money kept missing the cans and instead uses the 10 gauge. Where Eagles Dare, 1968, twin MP40 machine guns. In Clint's early career, he altered between westerns and war movies. In Where Eagles Dare, he plays the role of Lieutenant Schaefer, an American member of a World War II Allied force, tasked with dropping behind enemy lines to infiltrate a German castle. Eastwood dressed in a Nazi officer's uniform and carried German weapons from the 40s. Clint's star was still on the rise in Hollywood. He didn't get the chance to do much in this film. He just sounds off with the usual hard-headed American lines, but he has a genuine badass moment. Schaefer picks up two MP40 machine guns and shoots them simultaneously to cut down attacking German troops.
Clint Eastwood.
Now with McPherson dead, there's only 5 of us left.
So you either let me know what's going on, or there's only going to be four.
No problem.
Clint Eastwood is so cool. Like this, I think this is the first movie that I ever saw him in, and then maybe The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. I think the way he's just cleaning the gun, just like or putting together the gun, and just making sure that it's good. And I like the dynamic between them. It's pretty cool.
Gran Torino, 2008, M1 Garand and M1 911. In more recent years, Eastwood turned playing a more surly old man into a true art form. In Gran Torino, he's the newly widowed Walt Kowalski, a Korean War veteran who despises his kids, dislikes how his Detroit neighborhood has changed, actually hates everything other than the 1972 Ford Gran Torino in his garage. Kowalski finds something resembling a heart by the end of the film, after kind immigrants living next door touch his spirit. Before that, he's forced into their problems as a fight with a local gang crosses into his lawn. He exits his house with his M1 Garand rifle and an attitude to force them to take it somewhere else. Like many veterans of the day, Kowalski saw to it that his Garand and the M1911A1 pistol he served with during the war came with him back to the States. When someone breaks into his garage, he can still load an N block clip into his M1 with speed. He keeps his M1911 in the glove box of his pickup truck. It's a feint with this pistol that sets up the movie's climax. The Outlaw Josey Wales, 1976. Twin Walker Colts. Everything about Wales is a bit larger than real life, including two revolvers he carries as his main sidearms. At the end of the Civil War, this cap and ball western is gloomy, with a dark humorous side, and Clint's character is extremely dry and salty. His two guns were a pair of Colt Walker 1847 revolvers that he uses with deftness, a powerful gun built for cavalry soldiers meant to be carried in holsters hung from saddles. Eastwood appears natural and comfortable, shooting giant pistols one-handed. Reloading revolvers in pre-metallic cartridge days was slow and tedious. Wales carried more than just the two Walkers. He also kept a Colt 1860 Army revolver in his belt and a Colt 1849 pocket in a shoulder holster.
I reckon so.
The Man with No Name Trilogy. A Fistful of Dollars, 1964. For a Few Dollars More, 1965. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966. Coiled Snake SAA Revolver. Eastwood's breakthrough movie was as The Man with No Name in the Dollars Trilogy, three spaghetti westerns directed by Sergio Leone. The movies aren't connected at all. While Eastwood's character may be the same character in all three, but he also might not be. One thing that connects all three is Clint's revolver, outfitted with red grips, emblazoned with a coiled silver snake, which can be seen in all three movies. All three guns aren't exactly the same. In A Fistful of Dollars, Eastwood's loner character is called Joe, and carried a Colt Peacemaker with the mentioned grips, and a colour case hardened frame. In For a Few Dollars More, they call him Manco, and he sports what is presumably the same Peacemaker. He's also sporting a kind of leather wrist thumb thing on his shooting hand that's never explained, but looks badass. In The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, Tuco is the only one to call him by the name Blondie. He has ditched the wrist brace, again carrying a handgun with the red snake grips, but this time it has become an older Colt 1851 Navy cap-and-ball revolver, converted to fire cartridges. They never attempt to explain it or give him a backstory. The Dirty Harry series of movies. Dirty Harry, 1971,
Did he fire 6 shots or only 5?
Magnum Force, 1973,
Being this is a 44 Magnum, the most
The
powerful
Enforcer,
handgun in the world,
1976,
it will blow your head clean off.
Sudden Impact, 1983, The Deadpool, 1988, 44 Magnum Swiss & Wesson Model 29 revolver, perhaps the most famous handgun in film history. When people speak of Harry Callahan's Smith & Wesson 44 Magnum Model 29 revolver, they usually refer to the legendary "Do you feel lucky" speech from the first Dirty Harry, deservedly so. The first 30 minutes of all Dirty Harry movies feature Callahan falling a crime that has nothing to do with the main story, aka a gunfight.
Wesson?
In one, he takes on 4 guys trying to rob his usual diner during the breakfast rush. The waitress tips him off with over-sugared coffee. Quote, Callahan, "Every day, for the last 10 years, Loretta there's been giving me a large black coffee. Today she gave me a large black coffee.
Go
Only,
ahead.
it's got sugar in it.
Make my day.
A lot of sugar. I just came back to complain. Now, you boys put those guns down." Bad guy number 1. "Say what?" Callahan, "Well, we're not going to just let you walk out of here." Bad guy number 1. "Who's we, sucker?" Callahan, "Smith and Wesson and me." Callahan then blows away 3 of the bad guys with 5
Like
shots.
I owe you one, meathead.
The remaining wounded bad guy takes a waitress hostage with a small automatic. He freezes when coming face to face with the train tunnel bore of Harry's 44 Magnum. Callahan squints, cocks the hammer, and says, "Go ahead, make my day." Nobody, and I mean nobody, could deliver that kind of dialogue while wearing a tweed sports jacket and not sounding weird doing it. If you liked this video, make sure you hit the subscription button so you will see all my new videos as they come up. Take a look at my channel to see my many other videos. The link is in the description. Leave me a comment. Check out my Facebook page as well. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. I am Wrangler. Adios. See you again soon. The channel for westerns and more.